The Mughal Empire, one of the greatest empires in the history of South Asia, an age of emperors and conquerors, of poets and architects, of vast wealth and inevitable decline. For more than 300 years, the Mughals shaped the culture, politics, and destiny of the Indian subcontinent. It began in 1526, when a determined young ruler named Zahir-ud-din Muhammad Babur marched into India. Babur was no ordinary invader. He was the heir of Timur the Great and carried the blood of Genghis Khan. From the mountains of Central Asia, with just a modest army, he crossed the Khyber Pass and met the forces of the Delhi Sultanate at the First Battle of Panipat. What followed was historic. Babur's cannons and superior tactics shattered the traditional war elephants of the Sultan. The battlefield shook with thunder. And in that moment, the Mughals seized destiny. A new empire had risen. The word Mughal itself comes from the Persian word for Mongol. Yet the empire that Babur founded was no simple extension of Mongol tradition. It became a fusion of Persian refinement, Turkic military might, and Indian diversity. Persian was declared the official language of the court. But a new tongue, Urdu, was born from the meeting of cultures, blending Persian, Arabic, and local Indian speech. This language, along with Mughal art and architecture, would leave a permanent mark on history. But empires are fragile in their infancy. After Babur's death, his son Humayun inherited the throne. He was ambitious, but fate was cruel. In 1540, he was defeated by the brilliant Afghan ruler Sher Suri. For 15 years, the Mughals were driven from India. Yet Sher Shah himself left behind reforms, roads, postal systems, and administration that the Mughals would later adopt. In 1555, Humayun regained his throne, only to die in an accident the very next year. His son Akbar, only 13 years old, was suddenly emperor of a shaken dynasty. But destiny smiled on Akbar. Over the next 5 decades, he not only restored the Mughal Empire, he transformed it. Akbar's reign was the golden age of the Mughal Empire. Through a mix of military skill, diplomacy, and vision, he expanded his realm across nearly all of northern India. But his genius lay not only in conquest. Akbar understood that India was a land of many peoples, faiths, and traditions. He abolished unfair taxes on non-Muslims, welcomed Hindus, Jains, and Christians into his court, and even held debates among scholars of all religions. His empire became a model of cultural integration. The Mughal court under Akbar glittered with painters, musicians, poets, and architects. The miniature paintings of his workshops captured scenes of battles, hunts, and celebrations in exquisite detail. His capital at Fatehpur Sikri became a city of red sandstone palaces and mosques, a vision of imperial grandeur that still inspires awe. After Akbar, his son Jahangir ruled. Jahangir is remembered as the emperor of gardens and art. His court was filled with painters who perfected naturalistic styles, capturing birds, animals, and flowers with unmatched skill. He was also a ruler of deep emotions, passionate, yet often torn between duty and desire. His love for Nur Jahan, his powerful wife, reshaped the politics of the empire. Then came Shah Jahan, perhaps the most famous Mughal of all. Under his reign, Mughal architecture reached its peak. When his beloved wife Taj Mahal died in childbirth, Shah Jahan poured his grief into stone, commissioning the Taj Mahal. Its perfect symmetry, gleaming white marble, and delicate inlay work turned sorrow into timeless beauty. He also built the Red Fort of Delhi and the Jama Masjid, masterpieces that still stand today as living symbols of the Mughal legacy. But power often breeds conflict. Shah Jahan's own son, Aurangzeb, seized the throne in a bitter war of succession. Aurangzeb was a skilled general and expanded the empire to its greatest size, stretching from Afghanistan to the southernmost reaches of India. Yet his strict religious policies and endless wars strained the empire. The treasury emptied, rebellions spread, and subjects once loyal now questioned Mughal authority. When Aurangzeb died in 1707, the empire began to unravel. Weak emperors followed, unable to hold together the vast territories. Regional powers rose, the Marathas in the west, the Sikhs in the north, and new rulers in Bengal, Hyderabad, and Awadh. Meanwhile, across the seas, a new force gathered strength, the European trading companies. The decisive turning point came in 1757, when the British East India Company defeated the Nawab of Bengal at the Battle of Plassey. Though the Mughals remained as nominal rulers, real power shifted to the British. The emperor became a prisoner in his own capital, a shadow of the once mighty throne. Finally, in 1857, the people of India rose in revolt. Soldiers, princes, and peasants alike sought to drive out the British. The last Mughal emperor, Bahadur Shah Zafar, though old and frail, was declared the symbolic leader of the rebellion. But the uprising failed. The British crushed the revolt, and Zafar was exiled to Rangoon, where he died a lonely poet. Far from the halls of Delhi, with him ended more than 3 centuries of Mughal rule. And yet, the Mughals never truly vanished. Their legacy endures. The Taj Mahal, shimmering under the moonlight. The gardens of Kashmir, laid out with perfect symmetry. The forts of Agra and Delhi, silent witnesses to centuries of history. Their influence lingers in India's languages, in its cuisine, in its art and music. The Mughal Empire is gone, but its spirit still breathes in every corner of South Asia. If you love this dive into the past, hit that like button, subscribe for more epic histories.